Hey there, everybody. I'm Todd Nauck, and this is my first live broadcast here on Periscope. So what I plan to do is some sort of illustration. Usually I do post-it note warm-up sketches, so those have been a big hit with my fans on my different social networks. If you're just now meeting me for the first time, I'm a comic book artist. I work for Marvel Comics, DC Comics, Image Comics. I've worked on books like Spider-Man. I did a lot of work on Spider-Man, Young Justice, the original Young Justice, Teen Titans, and most recently I did a 12-issue run on Nightcrawler at Marvel with writer Chris Claremont, legendary X-Men writer Chris Claremont, a writer I grew up reading, so getting a chance to work with him was awesome. So what I'm going to do is clamp my phone here onto my extendable arm over my drafting table, do some drawing, and answer your questions. I'm going to give you tips and tricks on kind of what I do, and answer your questions as best I can while I draw. So like I said, this is my very first broadcast, first time to do this, so hopefully this will work out. And if it does work out well, I'll do more. And hopefully I can upload all of these to my YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/Todd Nauck. You can see the videos that I've posted there if you like what you see here. So let's get started. So this is my work area here. You can see I got some toys, posters, TV, DVD player, lots of DVDs, pictures of my wife, and lots of art materials here. So let's see what we can do. All right. Let me grab a fresh thing of Post-it notes. I don't know if blue will work here. Yeah, I think that'll show up all right. Let's see. I like to use a Kuratoga mechanical pencil, 0.3 lead, HB lead. It's a very fine tipped lead. It's great for teeny tiny details, and but it can break really easily. So I've had to learn to develop a lighter touch. So I don't know. We'll see if this shows up here on the camera. Now I'll go through the pencil stage, the inking stage, and coloring stage. Ideally is what I'm going to shoot for. Yes, this is legit. This is what I do every day. Sifet, if I'm pronouncing your handle right there. Appreciate y'all tuning in. So right now what I'm working on here is a Captain America. I figured with Avengers Age of Ultron just having come out, drawing an Avenger would be fun for today. I know today is May the 4th, and maybe I should do a Star Wars character. Maybe if this goes well, I'll do another broadcast later this afternoon or this evening, and do a Star Wars character then, figure out which Star Wars character I'd want to draw if this all works out well. So as you can see here, I'm really sketchy. I really like to just chicken scratch all the placement of the facial features in there. It's all these lines will be erased after the inking stage. Hopefully that's showing up pretty well. I know the lighting's a bit weird. Hopefully things will show up better when I start the inking process. This is a fairly dark colored piece of paper, but I really like the effect of the colored Post-it note. If you can see a gallery of my Post-it notes on my Facebook Art of Todd Nauck fan page. If you're on Facebook, just do a search for Art of Todd Nauck, and you can like that page, and you can find a whole album of these. I have done almost 200 of these Post-it notes. It's kind of become a thing I'm known for. I now have fans bringing me Post-it notes at conventions as gifts, which I really appreciate. But I am well stocked on Post-it notes, so if you feel the inclination to bring me Post-it notes as a gift, I'll certainly accept them. I won't turn down Post-it notes, but do know I've got tons. I'm like overflowing with Post-it notes now. I'm set for at least a few years worth of illustrations with all the Post-it notes I've received and actually have purchased even prior to the convention season. So a lot of my focus here is on the art here, so it's a little challenging for me to see what y'all are posting. but I appreciate y'all replying and posting along. I'll do my best to try to take a peek down at my phone every now and again to see if I can answer any of your questions if you have any. But again, if I miss your question, it's mainly because I'm looking more at the art than I am my phone at this time. But like I said, this is my first time doing this, so there's going to be probably a fairly large learning curve. I did someone ask if I was going to post this on YouTube. I will definitely be posting this on YouTube if I can. I've been looking into how to do that. What did I think of Age of Ultron? Thank you, comic_book_dude. I loved it. I saw it on Thursday night. I thought it was a lot of fun. I don't want to give out any spoilers in case anyone's checking out my broadcast here who has not seen the movie yet, but I thought they did a great job. I mean, it's a much larger comic book superhero team cast. I mean, we had the main 6 Avengers plus a few new characters. I won't say who those are in case people have been avoiding all the spoilers, but we've got more Avengers than we have had in any other movie, and I thought they handled it well. Joss Whedon, I think, does a great job handling those types of larger cast teams, and it worked really well. I thought it was so much fun, exactly what I wanted to see in a comic book movie. It was I thought it was so awesome. I thought all the fight scenes were done really well and moved at a great pace. So I thought it was excellent. So now I'm going to move into the inking stage here using some Pigment Micron markers. My favorite character to draw, X-Men characters. I love X-Men, especially Kitty Pryde. She's one of my top 5 favorite X-Men. So I love getting a chance to draw her. Oh, I just missed that one question there. If I didn't get a chance to answer your question, always feel free to repost it if you'd like, and hopefully I can catch it another time and see if I can answer it there. What's the hardest character you've drawn on a Post-it? On a Post-it, let's see. I don't know if it's the hardest character, but the most detailed character I've drawn is Swamp Thing. There's a lot going on a Swamp Thing. You know, he's all plants and roots and grass and flowers sticking off of his body. So, well, actually, not just his head alone. I could only really fit a headshot on a Post-it note. So, so I'd say Swamp Thing's the first one coming to mind. Let's see, what flick are you anticipating the most? Well, now that Avengers is done, well, Star Wars, The Force Awakens. I think that's the one I'm anticipating the most. But I'm also really looking forward to Ant-Man. I think the trailers for that looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. I think Paul Rudd as Ant-Man will make that a really fun movie. So I'm really looking forward to that one this July as well. Oh, let's see. D. Frederick69 says, my black cat was the most challenging for me thus far. And then let's see. I'm assuming you're talking about the one I posted, the tutorial I posted on my YouTube channel. I did a black cat on a Post-it video. So, in her more current costume. How do you decide which lines to ink and which to ignore? When I sketch in these lines, I'm really looking to create the basic shape. So I have multiple lines, but they're all creating one shape. The shape of the head, the shape of the nose, the shape of the neck muscles. So a lot of it's just kind of, having done this for so long, I just kind of instinctively know where I want to put my ink lines, because I'm looking to solidify that shape. Let's see, what projects do I have going on right now? Right now, I've been doing a lot of covers, mostly for Marvel. I've been doing a lot of things like that, and some special projects, like an exclusive Disneyland Avengers print. If you're in California and you're at Disneyland, go to Red Rocket's Pizza Port, and there's a limited edition Avengers Age of Ultron Marvel Comics print that I drew and colored by my Nightcrawler colorist, Rochelle Rosenberg. It's for sale there. You gotta buy like $20 worth of food to spend $10 on the print. But it's a real nice print. I finally got a chance to see it during Free Comic Book Day. So, someone brought the print to the Free Comic Book Day event I was at this past Saturday for me to sign, and it's like a really thick cardstock and really nice glossy coating to the print. So it's not like a cheap, you know, paper poster. You're getting a real nice piece there. So it's just things like that is what I'm working on right now. Looking to lock in on another title, hopefully in the near future. Is your Comics Con scheduled for the year? It's not filled, but I do have some more dates to announce. I will be at Motor City Con that's in 2 weeks in Detroit. So if you're in or near Detroit, Michigan, or Novi specifically, you can catch me at at the Motor City Comic Con. I'll be at Phoenix Comic Con at the end of the month in Phoenix, Arizona. Let's see, then I'll be at San Diego Comic Con in July in San Diego, the big show. And then, let's see, I'll be at, let's see, I'm not sure if some of my other dates have been announced. I let the convention always announce where, I'll let them have first shot at announcing my appearance. So there's one con in September that will be announced hopefully soon. I hope to be at the Long Beach Comic Con in Long Beach, California, and New York City Comic Con, New York Comic Con in October. I plan to be at that one. I haven't missed one of those yet, so I definitely want to be at that one. I really enjoy the New York Comic Con. So those are some of the ones that I have confirmed or fairly confirmed. Like Long Beach, I'm pretty sure I'll be there, but that hasn't been solidified exactly yet. But I've been to every Long Beach pretty much the past many years that they've been running that con. Good friends with the people who put the Long Beach Con on, so I like helping them with that one, supporting their con, their local SoCal con. Let's see. But stay tuned to toddnauck.com. I'm always posting about my future convention updates. When did I start drawing pro? What was my first book? Well, when you start drawing comics, your professional gigs are oftentimes small independent stuff. So I started with some really, really small indie stuff. So I won't even touch on. Actually, my very first project, now that I think about it, was first published piece was for Marvel Comics. I was 21 years old. I was still a student at the Art Institute of Dallas, and I got to draw a gag for Marvel's humor comic called What The? This issue 21, I got to do the back cover and it was an X-Men gag called Mutant Mishaps. So that's my first published piece. It was only one page, but not long after that, I got discovered by Rob Liefeld, when the creator of Deadpool and X-Force. He was one of the guys that co-started Image Comics. So they were hiring up a lot of young artists at that time, and I was discovered by one of the guys that worked for Rob. He liked my work. He took it to show Rob. Rob liked my work, and 2 days later I get a phone call, and I'm packing up and moving out to California to start work for him. So I started doing a series called Bad Rock and Company, one of Rob's Youngblood characters, where he teamed up with, and Bad Rock would team up with other characters from the Image universe, like Shadowhawk or Spawn or Grifter from Wildcats, characters like that. So that's some of my very first work when I broke into the business. But shortly after that, I ended up at DC Comics and did a 5-year run on Young Justice. Let's see. What is the hardest piece someone commissioned from you? Let's see. I would probably say, well, anytime I have to draw Galactus. Galactus is he's a Fantastic Four villain, very challenging design to draw. One of my least favorite characters to have to draw. So that's one of the ones that often comes up to mind, and I often joke about, is how challenging it is to draw Galactus. But Bane from the Batman movies, I had to draw him one time at a comic book convention, and that took a lot longer than I expected. That faceplate is very intricate and detailed, so that was not an easy one to draw. It was fun to do, but I realized I will never accept another movie Bane request at a convention. They're just far, far too time consuming. So this is a interesting process here, because I'm kind of, if you could see how I'm at my drafting table here, I've got my phone connected to an arm that's connected to my bookshelf, which is in between me and the illustration here. So I'm kind of having to draw at a weird angle, somewhat weird angle, not the worst angle, but it does make drawing a little more challenging here. So I'm trying to get all the details in the right place here as best I can. So let's see, come in here and we'll erase some of these pencil lines. This is why I don't mind going sketchy or real sketchy with my pencil lines, because they're not the finished product. They are just the structure and guide to what I need to inform myself to pick those lines for the ink stage. And forgot to mention it, but I was using Copic Markers here for this illustration at the moment. Two different tips, the size 0.8 and the size 0.1 for the smaller details. Sorry if I'm missing any of y'all's questions there. Focusing so much on the art and trying to get it looking as proper as possible. I'm using a Statler Mars plastic eraser. It works pretty well. I was introduced to a new eraser that I want to check out. It's got a bit of a softer touch and doesn't seem to pull up the ink lines as badly. I don't really just have much of that happen with the Statler Mars either. It's been working well for me for a number of years, but I know a lot of young artists say they have problems with the lines pulling up when they ink. So after they've inked and they go to erase, then the lines kind of gray out and fade out. Is it hard being awesome? I wouldn't even know how to say. I appreciate if you think I'm awesome. I do appreciate that. So, you know, I just try to live each day and try to be kind and caring and have a good time. So thank you for the compliment. And thanks for all the likes, people. I'm seeing a steady stream of hearts going up there. That really means a lot. So, and thank you, D. Frederick. I appreciate that. Really appreciate that. I'm very thankful and feel very blessed to get to do what I do, and it means a lot to have y'all's support to come and check me out. What kind of marker are you feeling with? Thank you so much, Chet. I am using a Pentel Pocket Brush Pen. This one's a little bit old. You can see one of the hairs on the brush have frayed out, so I'm gonna have to replace this one here. But right now it's good just for filling in the dark areas on Cap's mask here. So and nice thing about a Pentel Pocket brush pen, not a pen, but a pen, is that when it goes dry, you just replace the ink cartridge. In fact, I'll open this up and show you if I can. This ink cartridge, you can tell when it's dry because this thing it won't be black anymore. It will be, that's how you know when it's empty, and you just pop it out, grab a new one, pop it in there, and you're good to go. Do publishers comp you for art supplies? Publishers do often provide, what is it called? The art board. But as far as pens, pencils, things like that, we're pretty much on the hook for that. But there are tax write-offs, so, you know, we save our art supply receipts. So let's see. So I've got pretty much the basic line art going in there. And now is time for some Copic markers. So I will grab my collection. Ugh. I keep them in enormous wallets. We'll do a quick pan up here. A pan and scan. This is my color collection. Then I also, in a 36 count wallet, have all my grays in a separate wallet here. The lighting's a little bad there. We'll work on that for future videos, future broadcasts. So I'd say altogether I have well over 100, probably 125. I don't buy any of the sets. I know a lot of people like to buy the Copic sets. I buy mine individually. I buy the exact colors I want, and I'll go to the art supply store, test them out, and have a catalog of all the colors that I do have and which ones do I want to go along with the colors that I have. So I've never bought a color set. I always buy mine individually. That's just the way I roll. And because they are a bit expensive, it's easier to buy them individually for me. I can just buy those colors that I want when I have the cash or opportunity to make that happen. So let's get into coloring Cap here. So first I like to start off with my flesh tone. Because this is on a darker colored piece of paper, I'm going to start with a slightly darker shade of flesh tone than I would. So I'm starting with the E01, as you can see right there, the E01. They also are labeled on the ends there. Usually I start with an E00 or an E000, but like I said, since it's a darker piece of paper, I'm going to go with the E01. Just kind of skip a step up so that when the marker takes to the blue, to the blue paper, it will be a little more a little more vibrant. So that is an aspect of where the color of the paper changes what I would do color-wise, as opposed to if I were coloring on white paper, like a piece of Bristol board. I often use Strathmore or Canson Bristol board for my regular Copic commissions or illustrations. So I like to leave part of the paper open to keep the highlights on the page. It gives me room to work with blending in the colors, so I don't fill in the character completely. Then moving to the E02 here for a step darker for shading. So my brother-in-law turned me on to Periscope last night. He said, "Todd, have you heard of this Periscope?" I was like, "I haven't." Excuse me. And when I found out about it, it's like, oh my gosh, I got to give this a try. So I learned about this as early as 7 p.m. last night, West Coast time, and could not wait to give this a go. Hopefully this will be easy to upload to my YouTube channel. Like I mentioned before, if you just tuned in, I post a lot of my videos on YouTube that I can live broadcast here on Periscope and then upload to my YouTube. I can keep more material coming up on my page a bit more regularly, and you can see me draw in real time instead of sped up time, but you won't have all the slick edits with all of the the different materials listed in my on the illustration. But I'll do my best to show you each marker I'm using. So now I'm going to put in a little R20. I like to put a little rosy glow to the noses. Now it's very subtle, but I just think it kind of gives the character a little more life. And the color always ends up drying lighter than it goes down darker. Do you put more pressure? Does it put more pressure on you by doing it live? No, because I'm used to drawing live at conventions. When I draw at conventions, I'm drawing in front of people. Been doing that since I first broke into the business. When I was younger, I was terrified to draw in front of people. I did not want people to watch me draw. I was very self-conscious. But when I broke into the business and I went to my first convention, which was San Diego Comic Book Convention, working for Rob Liefeld at Extreme Studios, people excuse me, asked me to draw them sketches, and I had that kind of personal freak out moment, like, do I do this? Can I do this? I can remember that feeling of being at the precipice. It's like either I'm going to sink or swim in this very moment. Either I'm going to be able to draw for this person right now with them watching me, or I'm going to decline, tell them I can't do it, and if I do that, I'll never be able to draw in front of somebody. It'll be too hard to turn that ship around. So I dove head first. It's like, yeah, let's do this. Who do you want me to draw for you? And I went right into it. So I've been drawing, oops, pardon me. Bump the camera there. Been drawing in front of people for a long time, and I love to chat with people while I draw at conventions. So if you ever see me at a convention, you're always welcome to stop by, say hi, ask a question. I can totally do that now, and I've been doing it for a lot of years. So so it's not too much pressure. It's just having the luxury of shooting my videos and then editing the commentary later, is that if I flub up a line or say something stupid, I can always delete that recording and record something new. But I try not to say too many stupid things. Have you ever gotten a jam piece, or do you just sketch individual sketches or do you just get individual sketches from artists? I do have my own personal sketchbook, which I'll ask my friends to draw an illustration in. But I have been a part of jam pieces where people have been collecting art from different artists and asked me to contribute a character or start a piece. Someone recently started a hipster Guardians of the Galaxy jam piece, and I got to do the first one, Hipster Gamora. So so that was a lot of fun to do. A very unique commission request. Well, I sketch out a blank variant for you at NYCC in October. If you're able to get on my sketch list, I'm happy to do commissions on the blank variant covers. My sketch lists fill up real fast at conventions now because I can only handle so many commissions each day, and I've got a very high demand for my commission sketches. So as soon as the doors open for the convention, make a beeline for my table. I'll be posting on my websites, and social networks where my table location will be, so people are easily able to find me. And the first handful of people, however many commissions I think I can do that day, will get a spot on that list. I do a new list each day. I don't take one list for the entire weekend. I just do each list per day, so people get multiple chances to try to get on the list if they're not able to get on the list on that Thursday or on that Friday. They're still Saturday or maybe Sunday. But Sunday I take the fewest because it's the last day of the convention. Usually I have to get home and get back to work on my deadline, so I'm not able to take on as many commissions on Sunday. So the best days to hit me are probably the very first day, or so that Thursday or Friday, depending on how long the convention weekend is. But there are other options. So can't make any guarantees, and I can't put you on the list ahead of time. You got to hit my table that first thing in that morning. Is there any way to support you? So, my goodness, your question faded out before I had a chance to read it. But I think it was something about, is there a way to support me as a backer? I don't know if you're talking about like Kickstarter or GoFundMe or the Patreon backing sites. Haven't set up anything like that if that's what you're asking, but it's always a consideration. There's so many new opportunities out there for us on the internet now to keep things going and make things happen. So now so let's see. I was using a B12 and a B14 there on Cap's mask, and now I'm switching over to a warm gray to kind of shade out some parts of his face there. Gives it a little more depth. I'm using a warm gray number 2. Warm gray number 2. Is that even showing up? There we go. There's the W2. So let's see. A comic book dude asking, growing up, who was your inspiration? Artistically, my initial inspirations are very easy. The top 4 artists that really influenced my work back as a kid growing up in the 80s, and those were the X-Men artists of the 1980s. My favorite X-Men artist: Arthur Adams, Rick Leonardi, Walter Simonson, and Alan Davis. They were all working on Uncanny X-Men, New Mutants, X-Factor, and Excalibur, and they were the ones that really, really influenced me the most. Now, other artists influenced me as well. Mark Silvestri, Rob Liefeld, Jim Lee, Todd McFarlane, Eric Larson. I mean, it just goes on and on. But those first four that I mentioned, Adams, Leonardi, Davis, and Simonson, those guys really were the kind of the foundation of inspiration. So let's see, I need to color Cap's eyes here using the same blue, shades of blue. So I'm using a B14 here for his eyes, leaving a space for the highlight there. I did read Alan Davis's Savage Hulk run. In fact, I picked up Savage Hulk specifically to read Alan Davis's classic X-Men story there with the Hulk. So loved it. I thought it was a really fun story. Really do enjoy Alan Davis's work, so I did not miss that. What's your favorite X-Men story, arc, or event? Very easy. Growing up in the 80s, it's those first 3. Mutant Massacre, Fall of the Mutants, and Inferno. Inferno being my favorite. Those 3 are my favorite X-Men storylines. Did my style evolve from any of my favorite artists? Yes, they did. A lot of people can see the Arthur Adams and Rick Leonardi influences in my work. They don't see the Alan Davis as much, even though Alan Davis was a very strong influence on me. But the Arthur Adams style really kind of came through. And I think it comes through for a lot of artists who are influenced by Arthur Adams. I could often spot guys who are Arthur Adams influenced because he is a super master. But as time went on, the more I drew and the more I drew from real life, the more I started to break away from looking like my favorite artist and developing my own style. Oh no, John Byrne definitely falls in that category. I definitely love John Byrne, John Romita Jr., so many different artists. So you could mention almost any artist and I dig their work in one way or another. Maybe I don't dig everybody's, but I dig a lot of people's work. So I just, really the stuff of the 80s really, I mean, whatever era you break into reading comics, that's going to be your favorite era. So if you came in the 90s, you're going to probably love the X-Men cartoon, the Spider-Man Clone Saga. If you came into the 2000s, it would probably be, I don't know, Marvel Knights. But for me, it's definitely the 80s stuff always holds a strong factor for me, because I was a teenager and it really informed a lot of my preferences at that age. Hence my huge love for the X-Men. So let's see. Got to keep moving on this piece here. So now I'm going to put a little gray in and shadow out Cap's mask here. So I'm using the C4. It's a cool gray because a cool shade of gray. Not, I mean, the color is cool, I guess, in itself, but since a blue is a cool color, I want to use a cool gray to complement and stay within that kind of cool shades. Like I used a warm gray on Cap's skin because the flesh tone is more of a warm based color. So I try to keep my shades of gray, my choice of warm or cool, along with the color. So if it's a red, I'll use a warm gray, or a orange or yellow, I'll use warm grays. But if it's blue, green, purple, I tend to use cool grays to shadow out the complementary shadows. And I'm not used to doing this much this much talking while I'm drawing, unless I'm at a convention. So I think I need to get a drink of water here. I'm getting a little dried out. Do I know Ramos personally, and have you ever collaborated with him? I do know Humberto Ramos personally. Love his art. Been a fan of his art since he came on the scene doing some fill-ins on Superboy, was where I first saw him back in 1994. Really love his work. I love to see what he does now. I love his work on Amazing Spider-Man, and he's a really nice guy. It's always a pleasure getting to see Humberto at the conventions. Now let's see what I'm going to do here. Because this is white, I'm using a warm gray, but I'm using a fairly dark, no, warm gray. I mean the opposite, cool gray. I'm using a C3 here for the areas of Cap's costume that are going to be white. So I'm using a heavy shadow right now because these parts are supposed to be white. I'm going to come in with white pencil to render them out. So I want to lay down a dark gray so that when I cover it with the white pencil, we'll get a nice lighter shade of gray shading. So you'll see it when I bring in the white pencil to flesh that out. So, sorry, pardon me, let me grab a drink of water here so I stop coughing at you guys. Do I enjoy the mystery art challenges? Yes, I do, very much. Tony Guerrero. Oh, pardon me while I take a sip there. Tony Guerrero of Comic Art Vine has been a good friend and has always inviting me to participate in the art challenge if he and I are both at the same convention. Love drawing for Tony and seeing what he comes up with. If you haven't seen Mystery Art Challenge, just do a search for Mystery Art Challenge on YouTube and you'll see all the ones he's done so far, and I've been in probably almost 24 of those, at least close to 15 to 20, if not more. So I'm using a white pencil here. It's a Prismacolor watercolor pencil. Pretty worn down, this one here. I've been using it quite a bit, so gonna have to break out a new one. In fact, let me sharpen this one up real quick. Get a nice good point on there, or at least a decent point. So wow, we've been going for over half an hour. I appreciate you guys sticking around. I had no idea how long this would take. This is taking a little longer than I intended, but you know, when you're having fun, the time starts to fly. So we'll try to head towards wrapping up Captain America here. And like I said, if this goes well, I'll be doing more broadcasts and hopefully getting more people to swing by and check them out. And I am going to look into seeing how I can save this broadcast and upload it to my YouTube channel, so that if you weren't able to tune in or you came in late, you can see the illustration and discussion in its entirety. So they're coloring it in with a light pencil. All that darker gray has now softened and is a bit lighter and isn't as overpowering. Now for the eyes, though, I like to have a little bit more vibrancy, so I use a gel pen. This is a Jelly Roll white gel pen to put in the whites of his eyes as well as the highlight. I think it gives the character a lot more, really draws you into the eyes. It makes them quite a bit more vibrant, and I like that. Then I like to put a little highlight on the nose. If it's a female character, I put a highlight on the bottom lip, but I don't want to do that for Cap because I don't think that would look right. Let's see, I'm getting that same Ramos question. I don't know if that's... You intentionally sought to repeat that, or... Oh, have I ever collaborated with him? No, I have not collaborated with Umberto. We pretty much do the same job, so that we wouldn't be able to collaborate like we would with like a writer. So I don't know if there's as many opportunities for Umberto and I to draw something together. I guess it could be fun if I penciled something and he inked it and vice versa. I think that would be kind of fun. But since we both are storytellers, we're gonna pretty much be doing the same job. So let's see. Want to put some sort of background in here, so I'm going to take a red, one of my favorite reds, R27, and let's just going to wing this here. I'm going to just put in some stripes like a flag. Of course, the flag is billowing in the wind, so they're going to be very odd-shaped stripes to get that fold of the cloth look. Of course, now this means I'm probably going to have to go in there with a white pencil to fill in the white parts of the flag. So then I've give myself a lot of extra work here with the background, but I'm okay with that, if you guys are okay. What's the best way to break into the biz? Create comics. Start making comics. I know editors want to see people who have a passion. I know a lot of artists and writers are now breaking in off of their creator-owned stuff, and a lot of publishers look to Tumblr to discover new talents. So if you're not on Tumblr and you want to be a pro comic artist, open up a Tumblr account and start posting your art. Start slowly building up that audience, that fan base, and put up your best work, and maybe one day you'll get discovered. So, and also having samples to show at a comic book convention. Meet an editor face to face, be kind, be professional, and be ready to take in whatever information they have for you. So those are just some ways to break into the business. The climate's changed a lot now since the advent of the internet. I broke in before the internet got huge, so I did mine all through, all my breaking in through going to conventions and snail mailing in samples. That's how I got discovered at DC, was by mailing in my samples. But I already had 2 years of working for Rob Liefeld under my belt, so that made it a bit easier. I had a resume, a body of work behind me that made things a little different, but I had to do it snail mail wise. So let's see. Now I'm using a Uniball Signo white gel pen for the outline. It's a little bit thicker of a gel pen than the Jelly Roll. I like the flow of it. I get these at jetpens.com oftentimes if I'm not able to make it to the art supply store in my area, which is Southern California. Always feel free to turn your illustration to the direction you need to draw it, so I apologize that you have to watch parts of this upside down, but so do I. I often look at my art from different angles while drawing it, because it's, one, I don't want to smear the gel pen ink. Alright, so I think this is just about it. Are you excited to see Apocalypse on the big screen? Yes, and the fact that the movie is set in the 1980s, which is my jam, I'm very excited for that. And I really look forward to seeing the cast they put together. I've seen the Nightcrawler designs. I think it looks great. So I think all in all, X-Men Apocalypse will be a really fun movie. Really looking forward to that. So what is today? Is today the 4th, I believe? Alright, so there we go. There's the finished cap piece. That's a quick one there. Well, fairly quick. I'll probably, hopefully have this up on YouTube at some point, and I'll plan to do more live broadcasts here. I hope you guys had a good time. Feel free to leave your feedback or on my Twitter page. That's the same account at Todd Nauck, or on my Art of Todd Nauck Facebook page. Let me know what you guys thought, if you had fun, if you'd like to see more, what times work best for you guys for posting videos. I know we're all in different time zones, so that's going to be a huge factor as to when and where I can accommodate people's schedules. So I know I can't do that for everybody, but I'm going to try to find some of the better times to broadcast. And yeah, so I hope you had fun, and I apologize if I missed a lot of your questions. Like I said, a lot of my focus was on the art itself, and I appreciate all the support there. Thanks for all these. Oh, Ryan Stegman has done a few. I'm going to ask him how his have gone, and actually I had to track him down and follow him as well. So thanks so much for tuning in for my first live broadcast. There's a Captain America for you guys to take a peek at, and follow me on my YouTube channel, or I should say subscribe to me on my YouTube channel, and stay tuned on my Twitter. I'm sure I'll be posting again when I will do another live broadcast, but I better wrap this up for now. We've gone for about 45 minutes. Hopefully this won't be too big for me to upload to YouTube from my phone. Thanks again, and I'll see you guys soon.